If you've been waiting for information on what it takes to upgrade the parking lights and the blinkers in your 2015 Tundra, you're in luck, because that's what we're going to talk about today. My name's Chris with Headlight Revolution. You can find us on the internet at www.headlightrevolution.com, and behind me is a 2015 Toyota Tundra. Welcome to the 2014 and up Toyota Tundra Lighting video series. My name is Chris, and this is Headlight Revolution. What we talk about in this video is eligible for 14 and 15 Tundras, and most likely 16. I can't imagine they're gonna change anything this coming year. So the tricky part about the Tundra light bulbs is when you look it up online to see what fits, they don't tell you the wiring style of the Tundra. In the 2007 to 2013 Tundra, the rear brake lights were normal, totally normal wiring configuration, no tricks at all. But the front blinkers had what they call the CK style wiring, where the pins are in different locations. And because LED bulbs are literally just different types of circuit boards, you couldn't just plug in any old LED bulb, you'd pop a fuse. Well, we're running into the exact same thing with the new 2015 Tundras. So we can't just throw in any old LED bulb in the rear brake lights or the front parking lights. What we need is a specially designed light bulb that takes into consideration this type of circuitry. And what I have in front of me is the brand new switchback LED light bulbs from GTR Lighting. The cool thing about these light bulbs is that they're actually designed to work in any type of circuit, whether it's the regular style or the CK style wiring. So we know it's going to work in this Tundra. It's a super easy install, but I want to show you something. This is a brand new style of light bulb that we've just started seeing, and it's actually redesigned because it used to look like this. But you see how much bigger the old style is. They had trouble with it fitting in certain applications. That's not the point with the Tundra. Even the biggest light bulb in the world is gonna fit in this blinker. It's a huge headlight. But I just wanted to show you that it's a little bit more compact, and it's brighter, and it's redesigned. So what we have for this Tundra blinker kit is the newest LED light bulb technology on the market. Replacing your stock blinker bulbs up front on your 15 Tundra with the new LED bulbs from GTR Lighting is a plug and play operation. Pull the old ones out, plug the new ones in, and you're good to go. However, in order to make them blink at the proper rate, we have to trick the computer into thinking it still has an old style filament bulb in place. The BCM on the 15 Toyota Tundra monitors resistance of the blinker bulbs all the way around the truck. And if it sees something that it's not expecting to see, or if it doesn't see what it's expecting to see, it tells you about it. It says you have a bulb out, you get a fast blink issue or a hyper flash. The way that we do that is fooling the BCM into thinking it has an original light bulb still in place. The way you do that is by installing a load equalizing resistor. In the 2015 Tundra front blinker LED light bulb kit, you get two light bulbs and a resistor kit. The resistor looks like this. It's this big golden chunk of metal that when you measure it with a meter or a computer, it gives out similar characteristics of the original light bulb. So with this in line, the computer on the truck thinks it's reading a regular light bulb. If you think about it, the LED light bulb is just a circuit board. It's not going to have resistance. It's not going to have the same ohm load. It's totally different readings when hooked up to the computer. The computer's expecting to see a filament touching power to ground, not a circuit board. This golden resistor mimics all the same qualities as a filament inside of a light bulb. With this kit, not only do you get the two light bulbs and the two resistors, but the GTR Lighting resistors are the only one on the market that come with the appropriate mounting screws. Normally you have to source these yourselves, and that can be kind of a pain because they're very small and special. This kit also comes with T-taps if that's the way that you want to do the install. We're going to show you how to do the soldering job, but if you insist on doing it the easy way, it does come with the T-taps to do it. The last thing is this kit comes with an instruction book to tell you exactly how to mount the resistors, how to install them, how to wire them, and some precautions. If you read the top, it says, "Caution, this product gets hot, up to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really hot. Don't take it lightly. Do not mount these on anything plastic, near any wires, or anything that you can melt or start on fire." With the front turn signals, you have to wire in resistors after you replace the light bulbs. But for doing the parking lights or the side marker lights on the headlights, it's super simple. Pull out the bulb, put in the new one. What we're going to install in the front headlight side marker lights or the front parking lights is a set of GTR Lighting crystal lens T10 style LED light bulbs. These are super bright and they have a diffuser over them, so you're gonna get light from all angles when it's turned on. This is a really bright, really nice light bulb to have in this type of application. In order to replace the blinkers and the side markers on the Tundra, you have to get the headlights off. To do that, we need a couple tools. Once we get the headlights off, we swap the bulbs out for the new LED bulbs and then install the resistor for the blinker circuit. To get the headlights off, we have to take the grille off, we have to take the front trim panel off, and then unbolt the headlight. In order to get the grille off, there are 2 plastic clips in the top corner and 4 10mm or Phillips screws that hold the grille in place along the top edge. And for that, we're going to use a 10mm socket. And you can use a nut driver or a ratchet or an impact driver like what I'm going to use in this video. To get the plastic clips off of the top corners of the grille and the plastic clips off the trim pieces that are below the headlights, you need some kind of a trim tool. We're going to try a few different methods. I have a traditional style trim tool. I have a super slim trim tool from Joey's Tools, and I have a plastic hard card that will help us give a buffer between the paint and the prying so we don't mess up the paint. For the blinkers, when we get the headlight out and the bulbs replaced, we have to identify the ground and the blinking positive wire and install the resistors. To do that, we're going to use a wire cutter, a soldering iron, solder, and tape to make our connection. Now that the grille is off, we have to take these trim panels off the truck that are right below the headlight. They're held on the inside by these 2 plastic clips, which we will remove with the trim tool. And then they are also mounted around a corner, so they kind of have a clip that slips over and grabs onto the lip of this bracket behind the headlight. But because this truck has the Bushwhacker fender flares installed, I had to loosen those up so that we can have some space for this trim panel to pop off. The idea with this trim panel is that you pull it this way, away from the truck, and that's a little bit tricky because of this, but since I have it pulled away, it should come right off. So you can see here how it's mounted. It has a few little clips, and this grooved section kind of fits over the bracket that holds the headlight in place. The headlight is now only secured with 3 10mm bolts. There's one here, and one in this bracket on the side. I'm gonna use this towel to make sure that we can avoid some scratches. You lift up on these 2 arms on the top. You peel this back and give the headlight some room to come forward, and then the headlight comes out. Now we have access to everything on the back side of the headlight. We can replace the light bulbs for the parking lights, the blinkers, and the headlight bulbs. Now that we have the headlights out, it's really easy to access the wiring and the connectors for the side marker parking lights and the blinker light bulb. First, we're going to do the side markers because it's such an easy project. There's really nothing to it. This socket is for the side marker light. It's a little white 194 bulb. And it can be kind of tricky getting it out with the lights on because it gets so hot. But I want the circuit on so we can see if you plug the light bulb in right. A lot of LED bulbs are polarity specific, which means they only go in one way. It's not like a light bulb where the filament connects positive and negative in either direction. This is a circuit board. Usually needs plus in the right spot and negative in the right spot. But now you can see what this light bulb looks like. It has a really nice golden amber hue to it, and it's extremely bright with a lot of glare around the edges. So that's going to be good looking in the side marker. It goes in just like the original. And now we have an LED side marker. The blinker on the face of the headlight is a little bit more complicated. Here is the 3-pin connector for the 3157 bulb. And if you twist it, you can get the light bulb out of the housing. And right now I have the flashers on so that we can test that it's working. But first thing I want to do is actually disconnect the wiring from the socket. Now let's put the bulb back in there because I want to test this. Now here's the interesting thing. This connector has 3 wires. We have to assume one of them is ground because that's how all automotive electronics work. And we have to assume one of them is the positive trigger for the parking light function for this bulb, and one of them is the positive trigger for the blink function of this bulb. So where does this side marker light get its parking light signal from? You might think the truck would send parking light signal from a totally independent source all the way to this light bulb, but they actually did it in a very efficient way. Since the middle bulb already has ground and parking light functions built in, they just tapped into it and went from here all the way over to here. So by process of elimination, we can assume that white and purple are the positive and the ground for the parking light function. So if you go back to this one, white and purple, those 2 wires control the parking light function, which means this pink wire is the odd man out. That must be our blinker wire. That's the wire that we're going to tap into with the resistor. However, we still have to identify what's ground. It's always a good idea to do your own tests with a digital multimeter. So right now we have the multimeter on DC voltage setting, and I'm going to put the red terminal into the pink socket and the black terminal into the white wire with the black stripe. And if you look at what the meter is doing, it's jumping from a really low voltage like 1.5 or 1.4 volts all the way up to a high voltage like 10 volts or 11 volts. And so if you think about what the truck is doing for the blinkers, it's going on, off, on, off, on, off, and this is the meter displaying that function. If I flip it around, so my red positive terminal is in the middle and black's on the outside, now you can see that the meter has a negative symbol, which means we're backwards. So this test tells us that on the 3-pin connector for the parking and blinker bulb in the middle, that the white-black wire in the center is ground for both parking lights and blink. The purple wire goes over here and shares the positive trigger for parking lights, and the pink wire is independent for blink. So now that we've done some wire investigating, I'm going to put the new LED light bulb in, and then we can finish our testing and install the resistor. When I had the 4-way flashers on and plugged in the new 3157 switchback LED light bulb, it went to amber instantly. And that's because this is how this light bulb works. It doesn't matter which way you plug it in, it's a very sophisticated bulb, and it can tell if you are on the parking light function or the blink function. And because it's switchback, because it switches back and forth between white and amber, when it's on the blink function, it does not show any white whatsoever. Now that I turned off the 4-way flashers and just have the parking lights on, it's on the DRL function, also considered the parking light function. If I turn the four-way flashers back on, the white will shut off and the amber will blink. So now you can see how the bulb operates on four-way flash and parking lights. But what if we turn the ignition on and turn the passenger side blinker on? While only the parking lights were on, it was white. And as soon as I turned the right side blinker on, it started blinking amber. But now it's blinking fast. With the four-way flashers, it blinks at a constant rate no matter what's installed. Nothing, a regular light bulb, a defective light bulb, or an LED bulb. The four-way flasher or the hazards will flash the same no matter what. Once we turn the blinker function on to indicate turning, the vehicle will sense that it doesn't have a properly operating incandescent light bulb installed, and it will do a fast blink to alert you, the driver, that something's wrong. This is what we have to fix with a resistor. So where do you install the resistor? The resistor is not extremely small, and it has pretty decent length wires on it, probably about a foot per wire. But if you do it right here, you're not going to have a very good spot to mount them. What I'd really like to do is mount them here below where the headlight mounts. In order to do that, you either have to extend these wires or tap into the blinker wires further up in the harness, which is what we're going to try to do. As you can see here, I already have the harness wires exposed so that we can see what we're working with, and we've already identified here and here what wires do what: parking light, ground, and blink. We know that the pink wire on the outside of this connector is the positive wire for the blink. So we can find in this bundle, there's only one wire that's the same color. As you can see, we already found it. The white-black wire we've already identified is the ground. The parking light blinker has the white-black in the center for ground. The side marker parking light has a white-black wire for ground, and the headlight has a white-black wire for ground. And the auto adjust headlight motor has a white-black wire for ground. So when we open up this bundle, you're actually going to see one heavy gauge white-black wire and three small gauge white-black wires. It's a common ground, and we should be able to go between the positive blinking wire, the pink one on this connector, and any ground that we choose. So I'm just going to grab one of the grounds that we found and the pink wire, and that's where we're going to install the resistor. If you look, the resistor has two black wires coming out of it. That's because it doesn't matter which side goes to positive and which side goes to negative. All you have to do is make sure that you bridge those two connections with the resistor. I've done this 100 times, and I know how to avoid touching the wires together. And I'm doing it this way specifically as a demonstration to you to show you what happens when you install the resistor. Please don't do it this way. Have your ignition off. Do not have the flashers flashing. Do not have the blinkers turned on or anything. Just hook up your wires after you've done all your testing and turn everything back on when it's all taped up and safe. Because if you touch the wires together when you're making your connections, you will at the very least pop a fuse, if not damage something else. So please don't try this at home. This is for demonstration purposes only, to show you what happens when the resistor is installed. I'm going to use these side cutters to expose the copper wire. If you're not comfortable doing it this way though, you can use a wire stripper of some kind. Now that I have the copper wire showing, I can touch the resistor to each one. Like I said before, it doesn't matter what goes to what, but this should stop the fast blinking immediately. Now that I've proven my point that it works, and it doesn't matter which white and black wire you attach it to, I'm going to turn off the ignition, turn off the blink, and make my connections without any voltage running through the wires. Now that I've made my connections by soldering the wires and taping up the connections to keep them safe, I'm going to try to stuff all these wires back in the loom and re-tape it to keep them protected just like it was from the factory. Now that the connection is made and the wire loom is taped back up, we're going to take the self-tapping screws that are included in the kit and we're going to mount the resistor down here in the sheet metal so it's away from anything that can melt and it's in a safe place because there's nothing back here that you can interfere with. On the passenger side, you can see the GTR Lighting switchback LED bulb turned on. It's white when you just have the parking lights on or the headlights on. But as soon as you go to turn on the blinker, the white shuts off and gives amber a chance to do its job. Unlike other switchback bulbs, when the amber is blinking, it does not go back and forth between white and amber. It's more of an OEM style of switchback blinking. If your vehicle came with white DRLs, chances are the white shuts off while the blinking feature is in progress, and then turns back on a second later when you're done blinking. The driver's side bulb is the original incandescent 3157 amber bulb. When you turn it to blink, you see it operates just normal, but the thing is, it has a slow glow on and a slow glow off as it blinks. It's not that rapid fire modern style like the LED bulbs on the passenger side. Look at the difference in how fast they turn on and off. Not only is the LED on the passenger side significantly brighter than the original halogen, than the original incandescent bulb, but it also turns on instantly and off instantly, giving it a very modern, stylish look. The last thing I want to point out is when your parking lights are off, with the LED bulb, you don't have this unsightly orange globe glowing in the reflector housing. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when talking about cool headlights on your vehicle that you appreciate. You probably don't want them to glow amber when they're off. The LED bulb gives a very sleek, stealthy, and stylish look, whether it's on or off. So of course, every new Tundra comes with the space, at least, for the factory DRL circuit. But if your Tundra didn't come with the actual function of it, the LEDs themselves, if that's just for show and it doesn't actually do anything, the switchback bulb is a really good way to get an OEM style LED white DRL and still retain your blinker function without adding any extra parts to the front of your truck. As you can see, there's a little bit involved to this install, but it's really not too bad. I hope that we helped you understand what it takes to do the job and if you can do it yourself or if you have to hire a professional. We have all these products and more for your 2015 Tundra on our website at www.headlightrevolution.com, and we would be more than happy to help you with any of your upcoming lighting projects, whether it's your Tundra or your boat or your off-road toys. We can help with just about anything, so please contact us. And if you don't want to miss the videos that we have coming up next for your Tundra, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.